Hello, this is Beverly from scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Today I'm showing you a couple of different things. One is some butterflies that are in the new Cricut Artiste collection from Close to My Heart, and the other thing is about assembling some of the boxes. So the first thing was about the butterflies. There's two butterflies in the booklet and on the cartridge. One of them is a standalone butterfly, this lace filigree one, and that one is on page 58. And I'll show that to you. Here it is. It goes with the letter K, and it's the accent 4 when you have the shift key engaged. And this one I cut at 3 inches. And the reason why I wanted to show both butterflies together was to show you that when you're cutting the shapes, that usually the inches that you're putting in there is what you're going to end up with, but there's an exception to this, and this is the exception. So that one is the butterfly that corresponds with a box that happens to be, there's several boxes on this page. This is page 73. It's the one that goes with the spring and the Easter keys, and this butterfly is accent 4 with the shift key engaged. And the reason why I'm telling you that it's not exactly the same way as far as measuring is concerned is because this is the butterfly that corresponds to the box. And the reason why you can't put in a specific amount or a specific measurement and get that exact measurement is because the measurement actually has to do with the box. So when I put in 3 inches, which is the size for the box, I don't get a 3-inch butterfly. I ended up getting this butterfly. So this is the 3-inch butterfly. This is actually a 3-inch butterfly, but this is the 3-inch butterfly that went along with the box, and you can see that that's definitely not 3 inches. It's more like 1 3/4 of an inch. So then I cut it at 2 inches, or excuse me, this is 3 inches, this is 4 inches, this is 4.5 inches, and this one is 5 inches. And even at 5 inches, it's still not quite the same size as the 3-inch butterfly on the other page. So I wanted to show you that first because this, I think, is important to understand how some of the cuts in the booklet work. This butterfly size fits on the box that's cut at 3 inches. So here's the 3-inch box. And then what happens is once you've assembled the box, you put the other butterfly right on top. And in this case, I cut this out of White Daisy cardstock, and then I stamped it with blush ink. And I just used a random stamp. It's not even really a background stamp, it's just kind of a filler stamp, and made this cute little box. And then I cut out the other butterfly, once again at 3 inches, to make for the top part, so that's the top layer. So that's what this box looks like, and I'm going to show you how to go about assembling that. Okay, well, now that I told you that about the 3-inch cuts with that, I wanted to also share with you that there is a way to get around the exception, and that is on the overlay that goes onto your keyboard, there is a button on here that says Real Dial Size. And if you engage this and you put in 3 inches for that butterfly, this is the size that you will end up getting. And so you can see that that is now from the, and it would be from the biggest measurement of the surface on it, so it would be from the top to the bottom. So this is 3 inches now. So that is how to get around that if you do want to use this shape and know exactly what size you're going to get without having to kind of monkey with it the other way. So it's a really nice feature on every overlay that I've ever seen for the Cricut. Sometimes I do make my boxes out of patterned paper, but a lot of times I make them out of cardstock. And the reason why is because cardstock is typically just a little bit sturdier than patterned paper, and it's also a cost issue. It's cheaper to use the cardstock, and I really like how it looks when it's stamped. So for me, I'm quite happy with this kind of result. But you need to use whatever kinds of supplies you like to use to make what you want to have show up for your designs. So I could, and normally if I wasn't doing a video, I probably would go ahead and stamp this exact same stamp on here to make a nice background stamp. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to show you how to go about assembling this. And you'll see it's very, very simple. If you do have any questions about the assembly, you would look in your assembly instructions, and the way you know what page to reference is that you look at what design you're making, and for the 3D items there's some little green ovals over here that tell you the page numbers. So this happens to be the butterfly and it says 55. So then I would go to my assembly instructions and go to page 55, and you'll see that the butterfly box and also this flower box are on the same page. And on here it'll tell you which ways to fold things first. You don't need any adhesive for this box. It stays together by itself once the butterflies are put in place. Now I'm sure it's almost impossible to see these little perforated cuts on here, but there are several little perforated cuts that show you where to fold. And they do go all of the way through, but just barely, so you don't have to worry about the box ripping, and it will help you to be able to make your nice straight even folds. I try to use a bone folder when I'm making things like this just because I know that my folds will stay better and it gives a nice crisp fold. So you make those two folds, and these parts are going to go in first. There's a cut here and a cut here, and they will interlock with each other, but I'm not going to do that quite yet because I want to fold in my other sides. Those interlocking cuts hold the inside part, the first layer of the box, together, and you want to make sure that you've engaged those so your box stays together. And then there's also a cut here, and in this case sometimes the ones with the little design, they don't go all the way through, so I just take my little micro tip scissors and cut that if I need to. You could pull at it and probably get it, but I have a tendency to rip stuff, so it's just a tiny little snip. So you'll take this and you'll slide that together, and you make a little pyramid, and then you'll take your butterflies and you'll slide those together, and then you'll get your box that looks like that. And then if you want to, though you don't have to, but if you want to, then you could take your layered butterfly and just glue that on top. Now if this is something that you want people to have easy access to, you might want to just put adhesive on one side and leave it open, but it's pretty simple to just kind of peel this up if you don't use too much adhesive and put it on both sides, but you know, it's a personal preference issue again. So anyway, you just layer that on there, and I'm going to flip this around here. I should be able to make butterflies upside down, but for some reason I'm a little challenged on that. And then once you get this where you like it, you can also make it kind of go up and down or have it flat, whatever you want. I ended up decorating my other one with some little gemstones. And anyway, so this is a very simple box. I'm going to show you a couple others that I had made. This is another one that I stamped. This is obviously a Christmas tree, so I put some Christmas things on the sides. And this one is on page 79. This was also cut at 3 inches, which means that it's 3 inches tall. The tulip is, and here's some dotty paper that's double-sided. This was cut at 2 3/4 of an inch, and this was on page 74. This is the accent one for 74. And then this last one was cut at 4 inches, and it's on page 65. I ended up, part of the box and the way that it is held together is with this big blossom. I cut 2 of them to make it a little bit thicker of a flower, but it doesn't tell you to do that. It was just once again a personal preference option. And then the stamens are what hold this box together once it's inserted through the petals. So these are really simple boxes, really cute. These are easy to make, fast to make. You know, if you were having a party or a big event, you could, I could see how cute those would be all lined up along a table for party favors or whatnot. You can also use your negative space of your cuts. When you've cut out something, you can cut this out and use it as well and put it on a card or like a gift enclosure or whatever. So in the case of the butterflies, because I was making quite a few of those, I cut out a frame. I stamped with a background stamp with black archival ink on the pink paper, and then I matted that underneath here, and I just made a very simple, clean and simple card, and added some little rhinestones. But rather than let my cut go to waste, I decided to make another card. So anyway, I hope that you have fun with your projects, and if you have any questions or comments, please visit my blog at scrapandthread.blogspot.com. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.